Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would sit down and film a video that I actually told you guys I was going to film I think it was a couple of vlogs ago. So in this video I'm going to be talking about my 2-week wait symptoms and how I knew I was pregnant before I actually took a positive pregnancy test. I didn't like confirm my pregnancy before I took a positive test. I just had very strong speculations that I was. So I'm going to be reading off all of my symptoms, how I felt. I have it all written down on my Kindara app. I would make notes every day. I am currently 7 weeks and 4 days pregnant with our rainbow baby. My last pregnancy ended in miscarriage at 10 weeks and I had to have a DNC, but the baby stopped growing around like 6 or 7 weeks when that happened. But I had my first scan this week and the baby is growing perfectly. Their heartbeat was 140 at 7 and 1. Super strong heartbeat. That was like the first thing that the tech said, and I'm really happy about that. So there's a couple apps that I was using together. I was using the app Kindara and I was also using my Ava bracelet and my Ava bracelet app. So I would track my temperatures. That's how I knew exactly what DPO I was, because I was confirming ovulation with ovulation tests or OPKs, and I was also temperature charting. I would take my temperature every morning with my Ava bracelet and then I would input it in Kindara. I absolutely love Ava. There's nothing wrong with their app or their interface, but I've just been using Kindara for, gosh, so many years, and I feel more comfortable on Kindara. There's like a community there that I feel like I've connected with, so that's why I would put my temperatures in on Kindara as well, and I feel like it created a little bit more of a visual representation of my chart than Ava did. Ava, it was like very slow rising, and Kindara, I was able to see the gems a little bit better. I got a lot of questions asking what I did differently this cycle to get pregnant, and I didn't do anything different other than use Ava. This was my first full cycle using my Ava bracelet, and also every other month we've been trying for over 12 months, I'll just say that. We always would have sex like on the day of my positive ovulation test and maybe the day after or the day before and the day of my positive, and then we would skip a day and then we would have sex again. So that's basically been our pattern, you know, the past 12 months. So this month what we did differently was, I'm gonna have my chart up on the screen while I'm telling you guys about it. We had sex every single day for 6 days in a row. We started out on cycle day 9, and during this time, I was actually thinking that I was going to ovulate a lot later in my cycle, because that's what Ava was predicting, that's what Kindara was predicting, and I usually have a longer cycle. My cycles are 31 days, so I was expecting to ovulate around like cycle day 18, because that's typically my norm. But to my surprise, I ovulated on cycle day 16. During that 6 day in a row period, I got my positive OPK, my first one, on cycle day 13, and then I had another positive on cycle day 14, and cycle day 15 was negative. By the 6th day, I'll be honest, we were just burnt out, and I felt confident that the day we stopped doing the deed was the last day of my positive. And then when I noticed that it still took 3 days for my temperature to rise, I really didn't think that that cycle worked, because I was thinking like we had to do it every day up until my temperature shift. And I was worried, but they do say that sperm can live, you know, inside of the vagina for, I think they say up to 5 days if it's in favorable conditions. So it's up to 5 days, but that's not always the case. Okay, so that brings me to my symptoms. I just wanted to like share that little backstory. I love talking about charting. It's one of the things that I'm so like passionate about, so I can ramble. To my surprise, I started having symptoms 1 DPO, and I know some people might say like that's way too early, but I'm very in tune with my body. I've been charting for years, so I just know when things are different, and things were definitely different. Starting at 1 DPO, I mean, it's bizarre. I started with my first symptom, which was weird vivid dreams. The 4 days in a row leading up to my temperature shift, when I could confirm that ovulation had happened, for 4 days in a row I had really strong ovulation pains. I actually think there's a word for this. I think it's called Mittelschmerz. That I could be completely wrong. You have very distinct cramping and pain on either side where your ovaries are, and that happened to me. That doesn't always happen to me, but I had that this month. The first 2 days it happened, I had very distinct pain on my right side, and it felt like like in my groin, and it was like pinching, and it was actually really, really uncomfortable. Starting at 1 DPO, I woke up and I had a very vivid dream. If you guys creep back in, there's a vlog that I did, and I think it's titled Pregnancy Symptoms, and I talked a little bit about my symptoms because I think I was 4 DPO in that video. So if you want like a description of what my dreams were, go watch that vlog because I talked about them. And these dreams were so vivid, you guys. I could smell things, I could taste things, I could feel things like touching my face, I could feel heat, I could feel like height. Like if I was in one of them, I was in an airplane and I felt the plane taking off. That's what I mean when I say vivid, like lifelike. I'm feeling pain, I'm feeling heat and cold, and I'm tasting things and I'm smelling things. Those were the types of dreams I was having. So that started at 1 DPO and lasted all the way up until 4 DPO. 4 DPO was the last day of the vivid dreams at that point, and I had also started experiencing headaches and cramps. So my cramping was pretty intense. It kind of was similar to the cramping I had before ovulation. 5 DPO, I had no other symptoms other than cramping. The cramping remained. 6 DPO, only symptom was cramping. So I actually cramped every single day from DPO 4 to 8 DPO, which brings me to 7 DPO at this point. You can look on the chart, my temperatures were staying pretty low, but 7 DPO, I still had cramping. That day it had been day 4 in a row. But on 7 DPO, what was different about my cramping was I would wake up with the low cramps like I have been having. I was actually really bloated that day, which I was not used to being. And then later in that day, I wrote that I had pinching pains on my lower left side. But I remember distinctly feeling like a very painful pinching sensation, very low bottom left uterus area. I don't know where it was. Then 8 DPO, I started to have more symptoms again. I woke up with a headache. I had another vivid dream. I kind of had a break from the vivid dreams, as you guys have heard, thank God. More cramps, but on 8 DPO, I woke up and I had had a dream that I saw a positive pregnancy test. It was a very clear dream. It was very vivid. It was one of those internet cheapy tests, and I took the test in my dream, and I just remember it was like, I woke up, I remember telling Corey, in the dream, I didn't see anything else around me. It was like my eyesight just like zoomed in, and when it zoomed in, it was just like a blazing positive pregnancy test. Okay, so that happened on 8 DPO. So that was the morning of I had woken up and seen that positive pregnancy test. At this point, I was 8 DPO. I knew realistically that it was too early in my cycle to take a test, but I have heard of women getting positive tests at 8 DPO, and coincidentally, I had some Wanfos delivered to my house that evening. I ordered them on Amazon, and I actually wasn't going to order these. I didn't have any pregnancy tests on hand. To my surprise, they came in on 8 DPO during the evening because Amazon Prime delivers late sometimes. I remember getting the package, and I was like thinking to myself, there's no way if I take this test right now, it's going to be positive. At that point, it was, I think we were about to put Brody down for bed. It was like 8 o'clock at night, and I hadn't been holding my urine, and that early in your cycle, usually you test positive with first morning urine because it's more concentrated. And I was like, let me just pee on one, because I told you guys I'm weird. So I was like, I'm just gonna take it because I can, and there's like 25 in this pack, so I'll just do it. Took the test, didn't even tell Corey I was gonna take the test, and took it in the guest bathroom. I looked at it as the dye ran through, and I'm thinking like, that looks weird, but I'm not gonna look at it. And then I left the bathroom. Came back to the bathroom within like a minute or two, and I saw a shadow right away. I'm gonna put a picture right here after it dried so you guys can see, and I put like a little arrow. It was a very clear positive, at least to me. It was pink, it didn't look like an indent line, and I screamed. I had a very strong suspicion that I was pregnant with all of those symptoms, and then I confirmed it on 8 DPO. That's the earliest I've ever gotten a positive pregnancy test ever. With Brody, I got a positive pregnancy test at 9 DPO, and it was faint, just like this 8 DPO one. 9 DPO, I started to get gassy, which is super TMI and gross, but that's a good sign because that means your progesterone is rising. So at this point, I tested positive over the weekend, and as you guys know, or if you don't know, I have to be on progesterone when I'm pregnant. I have low progesterone, and this was over the weekend. So I was kind of panicking because I knew I needed to call my doctor and get prescribed progesterone, but it was on the weekend. So I believe 10 DPO was a Monday. I called my OB. They called in my prescription for progesterone that morning. But on 10 DPO, I also had a headache, again, a really strong headache, and cramping. My cramping lasted, again, 3 days in a row from 10, 11, and 12 DPO. 12 DPO, I also had a headache, again. And then honestly, that's when my symptoms kind of just started to taper off. Had I waited, I do remember that I kept testing because I have had multiple losses, and just seeing your lines progress kind of makes you feel better. If you've been through it, you know what I'm talking about. But on the day that my period was due, I believe that was like 13 or 14 DPO, I took a test, and it was like the line showed up right away. It was extremely dark. So had I been a normal person and I waited until my period was due, I would have had a very, very, very dark line. Those were all of my symptoms, and like I said, I am pregnant. I am entering my 8th week this week, and I'm just so excited. I'm gonna start saying this because I've gotten a lot of new followers on here and on Instagram and Twitter, and I can't thank you guys enough for just supporting our journey. But definitely, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I do plan on doing bump dates. I did them with my son Brody. You guys really seem to like them. I think I'll probably just do like a first trimester recap, and then from my first trimester I'll do like bi-weekly bump dates. That's kind of how I did it with Brody's pregnancy. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If any of you guys are still on your trying to conceive journey, I'm sending you so much baby dust and good luck, and I hope that this video was helpful to you in some way, and I will see you guys in my next video.